Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason. Thanks for watching. Now today is a pretty awesome video. I've been working on this content for a while and I'm pretty excited to show you guys 8 of these fridges and how they compare to each other. Now I do have a bunch of these review videos on my channel, but I thought it'd be great to have all the information in one place. So this video is going to cover all the basic information for these fridges, power consumption, major features, and you can see how they compare to each other. And then I'll make a few recommendations at the end of the video. So hopefully you guys are excited. Stay tuned. Let's just jump right into it. Now there are 3 different styles of 12-volt compressor fridges. I thought it'd be helpful to tell you about each one of these before we start the video. An open chest style fridge has a single zone and it's just an open design. The next style is a divided compartment. This has 2 different areas. One side is controlled by the thermostat and the other side is about 10 to 15 degrees warmer. The last style is a dual zone, so you have complete control over both zones, so you can set one side to be a freezer and one side to be a fridge. Now, I did extensive power testing on each fridge in this video. I know I'll probably get a few questions on how the power consumption testing was completed, so I'll explain these strict testing standards at the end of the video. Feel free to jump to that section using the included timestamps below, so you can see how that testing was performed. Okay guys, the first fridge we're going to be talking about in this comparison video is this ICECO TR-60. Now this is a huge fridge. It comes in at $699, but I have a 33% off discount code that bring the price down to $468. Now this fridge is mostly constructed of plastic. It has these large handles on each side that have adjustable length and they're really easy to grab and hold on to because they have these large rubber grips. Now to move the fridge around, it comes with these wheels. Now they are removable, but I would suggest leaving them on there. They're pretty small, they don't take up much space. But when you have one person to move this, it's really easy to roll this thing around. Now looking at the display, it's very easy to use. The display is bright enough to see during the day. Now the lid on this fridge is really cool. It's a reversible lid. So you can open it up, take it off, flip it around and put it on the other side. So then it opens on either side of the fridge, depending on how you have it oriented. It has this really nice clamping lid style, so it holds it down really well. It has 4 cup holders on top. Now inside the lid, it has an insulation plug, so it is insulated, and it has this foam gasket that goes around the entire inside. Overall, I like the exterior design of this fridge. It comes in at 43 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight for the size of this fridge. So the other thing that's really nice about this fridge is the price per quart ratio on this fridge is $7. Now that's the best price per quart that you're going to get in the entire video. So if you're looking for a cheap, large fridge, this is going to be your option. Now looking inside the fridge, there's a bright LED light and it comes with this storage basket, and the large area is actually lined with metal, so it's super efficient. Now this fridge uses a divided style compartment, so when you adjust the temperature on the display here, it controls the temperature for the large area. That then bleeds over to the smaller area, so that smaller area is about 15 to 10 degrees warmer than what you have the display set to. So there's 2 options for running this type of fridge. You can run this side as a freezer, and then this side can be a fridge. That wouldn't be the way I'd recommend running this. What I would do is I'd set this fridge side to a cold fridge, somewhere around 36 degrees, and then this side would be perfect for produce and drinks. Now this does come with 63 quarts of storage, and it does not have a drain plug. This fridge has the VL45 Secop compressor. On eco mode, it pulls 46 watts, and on max mode, it pulls 82 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature, you expect around 9 watts of average power consumption. At 85 degrees, you can expect about 18 watts average power consumption on this fridge. If your battery had about 500 watt hours of capacity, you'd expect around 27 hours of runtime if it was 85 degrees consistently. So to sum up the TR-60 in a few sentences, this is a great fridge because it's low cost and it's lightweight. It's also awesome because it has these wheels, so if you're one person that needs to move this, you can move it around. The one thing that I don't like about this fridge is it has this foam gasket, and also the lid gets a little bit loose sometimes, so if you have it off a little bit, it won't close. So as long as you seat it back and set it down, it will close properly. It just takes a little bit to get used to that, but overall, it's a great fridge. If you're looking for a fridge that has a ton of space for an excellent price, you can't go wrong with the TR-60. Okay guys, the second fridge we're going to be talking about in the video is the ICECO VL45. Now if you remember my previous comparison video, this was one of Jeff's favorite fridges, and there are so many reasons it's such a great fridge. Now this comes in at $559, but with my discount code it'll drop the price to around $527. Now this entire fridge is built out of metal. It has these really durable metal handles on the side that are spring-loaded, and looking at the display, it has everything you'd want to know. It's very easy to control the temperature, the battery protection, and min or max mode. On the side, you also have two power inputs. This has a built-in AC inverter, so you do not need an external AC to DC converter if you're running this off AC power. You just plug either AC or DC into the side of the unit. Now on the front of the fridge, there are these really nice latches. I love how tight they are to pull the lid down to give it a good seal, and they're very easy to open up as well. Now taking a look inside, the first thing you'll notice is this inch-wide rubber gasket that meets up with the top of the fridge, and it gives you an awesome seal. The lid is super thick and the walls are 2¼ inches thick as well. So everything about this fridge screams efficiency. Now this is an open chest style fridge. It has a bright LED light with 2 storage baskets included. The whole inside of the fridge is encased in metal, so that adds to the efficiency, and it has a total of 49 quarts of storage. Now the price per quart on this fridge itself is around $10 per quart, so it comes in third on our ranking out of all 8 of the fridges. Now this fridge uses the VL45F Secop compressor. On eco mode it pulls 34 watts, and on max mode it pulls 54 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature, you'd expect around 8.6 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature you would expect around 17 watts power consumption. If your battery had 500 watt hours of capacity, you could expect around 29 hours runtime at 85 degrees ambient. Now this fridge is excellent for its durability and its efficiency. One of my favorite things about this fridge is just how thick the insulation is. One thing that I don't like about it is how heavy it is. For the size, it's actually pretty heavy, so you'll definitely want to have 2 people to move this around. And overall, this would be perfect for anybody that's going on a road trip, car camping, or overlanding because it's so reliable and very, very durable. Okay guys, moving on to number 3, this is the ICECO JP30. Now they also make a JP50 and a JP40. Basically the only difference is they have a different size spacer that goes between the top and the bottom. The footprint's the same, it just gets taller and adds more internal space. Now the 30 comes in at $479, but with my discount code you can get it for around $421. Now this fridge is perfect for road trips because it's so lightweight. It's mostly constructed of plastic, so it only weighs about 33 pounds. So if you're moving it from your car to your hotel or from your car to your campsite, you're not gonna have any issues moving it around. Now it has 2 really nice spring-loaded handles on each side, and they make it really easy to carry. Looking at the display, I love how simple it is to use. It shows everything you need to know, and it's very bright so you can see it during the middle of the day. Looking at the latching system, I love this latching system because it almost just shuts itself. Now when you open up the lid, it opens up longwise, so you get this really tall fridge. One thing to think about is if this is sitting in the back seat of your car, you're not going to be able to open up the lid all the way. You're going to get to about right here, and then you'll have to reach in and hold the lid up as you're getting stuff out because it'll hit the ceiling of your car. That's just one downside to having a lid open longwise. So looking inside the fridge, it has a blue tinted LED light. It comes with a storage basket with a divider, and it has a metal lined interior. Now this is a divided style compartment fridge, so you have the thermostat that controls the large area, and then the cold air bleeds over to that small area over the compressor. Now this fridge comes in with 33 quarts of storage, so our price per quart ratio, it sits in 7th place at $12 per quart. Now this fridge has the VL45F Secop compressor. On eco mode it pulls around 38 watts, and on max mode it pulls 59 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature you expect around 11 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature you'll expect around 23 watts average power consumption. If your battery had around 500 watt hours of capacity, you'd expect around 21 hours of runtime on this fridge at 85 degrees ambient. Now I forgot to mention that this fridge also has the dual power input because the inverter is built in. So it has the AC cable and the DC cable. You just plug those in and the fridge is powered up, and it even comes with a protective case. Now, overall, this fridge is excellent for its compact size and weight. I'd have to say one of my favorite features about this fridge is the folding handles. I love how comfortable and easy these are to use. And probably the worst thing about the fridge is just how tall that lid gets, so you're gonna have to deal with holding the lid up when it's in the vehicle. Overall, not anything bad about this fridge, and it's a great model. Okay guys, fridge number 4 is the ICECO VL60Pro. Now they took everything from the VL standard series and made it better and added more features, and that's why it's called the Pro line. Now this comes in at $799. With my discount code, you can pick it up for around $703. Now the fridge is constructed mostly of metal and it comes in at 55 pounds. There are 2 handles, one on each side. They're very heavy duty and I haven't had any issues moving this around with those handles. On the control panel, you have 2 USB ports and 2 power inputs. It accepts DC and AC power because the AC inverter is built inside, so less clutter to take around with you on your trip. The control panel is very easy to read and it shows everything you need to know. There's also an additional power port on this side that you can plug in DC power. So if you want the cable out of the way or if you want to install this in some sort of cabinet, you can hide the wire away by plugging it in here. One of the coolest features about this fridge is the lid design. You can open it from the front, you can open it from the back, or you can completely take it off and get whatever you want outside of the fridge. So looking inside this fridge is an open chest style design and it has one single zone. You can see it has a bright LED light and a large storage basket, and the entire inside of the fridge is lined with this metal liner for efficiency. It actually has an included drain plug so you can wash it out and drain the water out to get rid of anything that's spilled inside the fridge. Now this fridge comes in with 63 quarts of storage. So our price per quart ratio is $11 on this per quart, so it comes in 4th place out of all 8 fridges today in the video. This fridge uses the BD35F Secop compressor. Did I mention these have 5-year warranties on them? On eco mode, it pulls 38 watts, and on max mode, it's gonna pull 58 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature, you'll expect about 10 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature, you're gonna expect around 20 watts average power consumption. If your battery had about 500 watt hours of capacity, you'll expect around 25 hours of runtime at 85 degrees. Like I mentioned previously, this is their single zone model. They do have larger dual zone models that have 2 temperature settings and 2 individual zones. One could be a fridge or a freezer. So if you're interested in that, check out their website because those options are available. Now this is an excellent fridge because of its features and its efficiency. My favorite part about this fridge is this dual opening lid. No other fridge company has a lid like it. The least favorite thing about this fridge is probably the price. It could be a little bit steep, especially because you're jumping quite a bit up from the standard VL series. Now, if you think about the competition, Dometic, Engel, ARB, their fridges around this same much are gonna go over $1,000. So I guess it's still a budget offering, and it has a Secop compressor with a 5-year warranty. So it still is cheaper than most of the competition out there. Now this fridge is excellent for overlanding, camping, or just having extra fridge storage around your house. Even if the power goes out, you can run this off a battery and get a long run time. It's an awesome fridge. Okay guys, we're more than halfway there. Hopefully you guys have found this information helpful. If you found it helpful, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button so we can get this video out to as many people as possible. The 5th fridge we're going to talk about today is the ICECO Go 20. Now this comes in at $444, but with my discount code, you can pick it up for $390. Now this is a pretty small fridge. It's completely constructed out of plastic and it has this really nice metallic paint job. It comes in at 24 pounds, so it's super easy to move around. And I like how it has these built-in handles. They're very slim. Now it accepts DC power in, so you will have to have the AC to DC adapter, but it does come with that. And looking at the display, you can see there are 2 individual touchscreens to adjust the temperatures in each zone. You heard me, it actually has 2 zones inside this fridge. Now there's a sticker on the front you can scan with your smartphone to download the app. This has Bluetooth connectivity, so you can actually control the temperature, see the current temperature, and turn it on and off with your smartphone. Now looking inside the fridge, there are 2 individual zones. One's a little bit bigger than the other, and you have the ability to set one side to be a fridge and the other side to be a freezer, or you can set them both to be a fridge. Now there is an LED light that lights up the inside, and what's really cool is it has this removable divider, and when you remove that divider, it disables one of the touchscreens, so it becomes a single zone fridge. Now looking at the lid, there is this nice rubber gasket that goes along the entire inside that seals really good with the top, and it has this really cool slow close lid design. Now, if you want to have a gallon of milk in here, you're going to be sad because the lid will not shut if you put a gallon of milk in here. Now the total capacity for this fridge comes in at 21 quarts, so our price per quart ratio is $18 per quart, so this is a little bit more on the expensive side for its size. Now this fridge does have a Secop compressor inside, but I have not taken it apart to see which model it is. On Eco mode it pulls 43 watts, and on Max mode it pulls 78 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature, you can expect about 18 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees, you'll expect about 31 watts average power consumption. Now these numbers are a little bit higher because this is a dual zone, and whenever you have a fridge set to freezer, it uses more power. If your battery has about 500 watt hours capacity, you would expect around 16 hours of runtime at 85 degrees ambient. Now this fridge is excellent because of its size, and it's a dual zone fridge. Now I love this fridge because it's Bluetooth app. I think that's a really cool feature not many fridges have. And I'm kind of bugged that it doesn't fit a milk jug. This is perfect for road trips or day picnic trips. This is an awesome little fridge. Okay guys, I'm super excited to show you the sixth option in the video today. This is the ICECO JPC42. This is their 3-in-1, so it can be a freezer, it can be a fridge, or it can be an ice chest. Now this comes in at $530, or with my discount around $466. Now this is a roto-molded design, so it's super heavy duty. It's built like a tank. Just think of a Yeti cooler, but with a compressor fridge inside. Now what's funny is this is actually similar cost to a Yeti cooler, but it actually is a fridge, so you get so much more by buying this instead of a Yeti cooler. Now it has two nice cup holders on the top with a large area to put a cell phone or keys, and it has these huge strong rubber latches on the front that keep this shut so you don't have any animals getting inside. I probably would say this is bear proof, but I haven't tested it, so I'm not sure. Now looking at the display, it is very simple. It shows you the temperature. You can adjust the temperature, Eco or Max mode, and it does have DC input only, so it does come with an AC to DC power brick, but you'll have to have that on the outside. Now it has these nice large handles, so it's really easy to carry around, and it has a hole in the handle so you can put rope through and tie this down. Taking a look inside this fridge, you can see it's an open chest style design. There's a metal liner that goes inside the entire fridge, and that's to cool it down. And you can see there's a water line on that, so you do not want the water or ice to go above that if you are using it as an ice chest. Now there's this cool shelf that slides along the top, and unfortunately this does not have an LED light, and it's probably because there might be any issues with water getting into that LED. Now there is a drain plug at the bottom. If you want to wash this out or drain the ice and water out, you can just unscrew the drain plug and it'll drain that out. This comes with a total capacity of 42 quarts. So our price per quart ratio comes in at $11 per quart. So it's at 5th place compared to all the other fridges in the video. Now looking at the lid, it does have this really nice rubber gasket that seals along this inside line. So you get a really good seal when you shut down the lid of this fridge. This fridge uses the BD35F Secop compressor. On Eco mode, it pulls 35 watts, and on Max mode, it pulls 74 watts. At 70 degrees ambient, you can expect around 13 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature, you'll expect about 26 watts average power consumption. If your battery had 500 watt hours of capacity, you'd expect around 19 hours of runtime if it was 85 degrees outside. Now this fridge is excellent for its 3-in-1 design, being a freezer, fridge, or an ice chest. There's not really anything else out there like this. ICECO has another very unique design on their hands, and this fridge is pretty awesome. The one thing that I love about this is the durability. The one thing that I don't really like about it is it's missing the LED light, so at night you're gonna have to hold a flashlight because you're not gonna be able to see inside this fridge. Now this is perfect for maybe marine use on the beach, or just having this around for an overlanding setup. This thing is super tough. Okay guys, we're here talking about the 7th fridge in the video comparison. Hopefully you guys can see me. This thing is massive. This is the ICECO VL74. This comes in at $820, or with my discount code around $720. Now this is very similar to the VL45, but it's just bigger, and there are a few differences. Now this has complete metal construction. It weighs 62 pounds, so you're gonna want 2 people to move it around, or moving it around by yourself gets old pretty quick. Now to carry the fridge, there are these really nice handles that are the same on the VL45. They're very strong. And on the side, you have the input power jacks. You have DC power input and AC power input because this has a built-in inverter. Now on the front, this has an updated display. What's really cool is this one shows an actual voltmeter, so you can see the voltage of your battery, and it also shows everything else you'd want to know about the inside of the fridge. Now this fridge also has very extensive insulation. The lid is insulated, the walls are insulated. It has the same latches as the VL45, and they are very durable. Now because the lid is so big, they added 2 additional hinges on the back. Now this is an open chest style design, and it's so big it has 2 individual LED lights. It has 2 very large rugged baskets to lift the food out so you can move the fridge, and it also is lined with metal for really good efficiency. Now you'll also notice it has that very good rubber seal that goes along the entire inside of the fridge, so you're going to get the same efficiency on this fridge as you would have with the VL45. Now this has a total capacity of 78 quarts. Now the price per quart ratio on this fridge comes at $9 per quart, so this is actually the second best deal out of all the other fridges because you pay the least amount per quart. Now this fridge uses the larger BD50F Secop compressor. On eco mode, it's going to pull 43 watts, and on max mode, it pulls 71 watts. At 70 degrees ambient temperature, you're going to expect about 15 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature, you can expect about 26 watts average power consumption. If your battery had 500 watt hours of capacity, you could expect around 19 hours of runtime at 85 degrees. Now a fridge like this is excellent for a larger family or a really long trip. Now one of my favorite features about this is just the durability and efficiency. This thing is built like a tank. The downside is basically the size and the weight. At being 62 pounds, you're going to need 2 people to move this around, especially when it's loaded up with food. And it kind of has a limited space where it's going to fit. This will not fit in a car. It's going to hardly fit in an SUV. It fits in the back of my 4Runner, but I have limited space for gear. So you're going to want to plan ahead with either a truck or a van or just a larger area where this is going to fit. You can check out the dimensions on ICECO's website, and they're always really accurate. And with the Secop compressor, this comes with a 5-year warranty. Okay guys, hopefully you've made it this far. This is the last fridge in our comparison. This is the ICECO JP60Pro. Now this is an upgraded version from the previous rotomolded design that we saw in the video earlier. This has a ton of features. In fact, it probably has so many features, I'm gonna forget something. Let's just start about where to get this. Now this is currently on an Indiegogo campaign. So the MSRP is listed at $799, but you can pick this up for $559 through that link. So I'll have the link down below if you want to check out that crowdfunding campaign. Now let's start at the top and work our way down. Now the lid on this is heavy duty. It has really nice latches. So if you latch this shut, there's no way an animal is going to get inside this thing. It has 4 cup holders. And what's nice is it also has 2 rulers on the top. There's an inch and there's a centimeter. So I'm guessing if you're going fishing or something like that, and you have this around, you can see how long your fish is and you know if you have to catch and release it. Now let's talk about the handles. So there are 2 sets of handles on this. There's one handle that's on the top that has a really good grip here, and that has a built-in bottle opener on each side if that's your thing. And there's also these rope handles that have padded grips on them. So 2 ways to carry it, that's pretty awesome. Now on this side you have your drain plug, so you can easily open it up and drain out the water and ice when you're done using it. And on this side you have your display that shows you your current temperature. You can change the temperature, set Eco Max mode, turn it on and off. And then you have your power input at the bottom. Now this is DC power input only. It does come with an AC to DC adapter, but you just have to bring that along. Just make sure you remember that this only has a DC input port. Now this comes with cutting boards. This actually has 4 wheels that are very large and that install on the bottom, so you can actually move this around very easily. So this is one of the most mobile fridges I've ever tested. So if you're looking for a mobile fridge, you may want to look at this option. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the fridge. Now, starting at the top, you get this really nice rubber gasket, just like the previous edition. And looking inside, this is an open chest style fridge. You have 1 temperature zone and it's waterproof inside. Now you don't get the LED lights because of the water issue. Now you have that same line where the water doesn't go above because you don't want that splashing around getting into the compressor area. This does have a large removable basket, and it's really easy and convenient to take out your food. If there's a spill, you can wipe up the bottom of the fridge. Now this fridge has a total capacity of 63 quarts. So doing the math, that comes out a price per quart ratio of $11 per quart. So that comes in at 6th on our list. So it's not last, but it's also not the best price for the capacity. Now this fridge uses the BD50F compressor. On eco mode, it pulls 52 watts, and on max mode, it pulls 91 watts. At 70 degrees ambient, you can expect around 14 watts average power consumption, and at 85 degrees ambient temperature, you can expect around 27 watts average power consumption. If your battery had around 500 watt hours of capacity, you could expect around 18 hours of runtime at 85 degrees. Now this fridge is excellent for its durability and its mobility. Now, I know it's a huge fridge, but this comes with 4 giant wheels, so you can easily move it around. One of my favorite features about these fridges are the roto-molded design, so I love how durable they are. This thing's gotta be bear-proof. Now, the downside is it does not have an LED light inside, so it gets kind of inconvenient whenever you're digging around this thing at night. You have to have a flashlight with you. Now, overall, this thing would be great for overlanding, car camping, or just, going out at the beach. I definitely recommend this fridge if you want something that's super durable. Okay guys, you made it to the end of the video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And the whole goal of this video is to provide you guys with enough information so that you could go out and purchase which ICECO fridge works best for you. Now, the good things about ICECO, they have excellent build quality, they have Secop compressors in them, and they do have local support. Now, the local support's not the best at getting back to you. There is a delay. They're very busy, and I hope that they hire more people so they can get that better customer support, but at least they do have someone that will help you with your questions. Now, if you buy a no-name brand fridge off Amazon, you're not gonna get any support for that product. So that's why I always recommend going with a company that has that support. Now, there was a lot of information in this video, and I do plan to offer more videos in the future about these fridges. I want to do a how to run a 12-volt compressor fridge or how to power a 12-volt compressor fridge in the future. So stay tuned for that video. Now, just a few recommendations at the end. I want to keep this short. Best mid-range fridge, I'm going to go with the ICECO VL45. Super durable. That was my first fridge. I had it for 2 years. Never any issues. Very efficient. If you want to go for the best price on a 60-liter fridge, it's going to be the TR-60. If you want one with a little bit more durability, that's going to be the JP60Pro. Has a ton of features, very durable with the roto-molded design. Now, if you want a step up from the ICECO VL series, go with the VLpro Series. You can get dual, you can get single. The VLpro60 is an amazing fridge, and I absolutely love it. Now, if you need a monster, go with the VL74. Now, it's a little hard between these smaller fridges because you're like, which one should I go with? The Go 20 is perfect for if you're looking for Bluetooth connectivity or a dual zone, but it also has that hybrid design. The only thing is this is a little bit small, so I may recommend that you upgrade to the JP30. It's a little bit bigger and has a similar cost, so that might work a little bit better for you. Anyway, guys, I'll just cut off the video here. I've been rambling way too much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go ahead and talk about my power consumption testing standards I used in the video. Now, each fridge had a temperature set point of 37 degrees during the testing, and it was filled to about 50% capacity using water bottles. Each fridge was tested at 2 different ambient temperatures for over 36 hours. The 70-degree ambient test was completed in a large room in my basement where it was consistently 70 degrees. The 85-degree ambient test was completed in a small closet with a heater. The heater thermostat was set to 85 degrees. Now, each of the fridges in the video were powered with the same 14.5 volt AC to DC wall adapter. That adapter was then plugged into a kilowatt meter which measured the total watt hours consumed by the fridge. Once the test was finished, I took the total watt hours used, divided it by the total hours of the test, and that gave me the average wattage of the fridge. Now, no, I'll probably get a question about if the compressor is pulling 43 watts on eco mode, then how does it average only 15 watts of power usage? When running one of these 12-volt compressor fridges, the compressor will only run as needed. Whenever the set point is met inside the fridge, the compressor actually turns off, and when the compressor is not running, it pulls an average of 1 to 2 watts. The hotter it is outside, the more the compressor will run, which leads to a higher average wattage. Now, to give you an example of this, if it was 105 degrees outside, the compressor would usually run 100% of the time. Say this compressor pulls 43 watts on eco mode, so you're going to get an average power draw of 43 watts. Now, all of these tests were completed in a relatively low humidity level, so I'm not sure how humidity would affect the testing results. It's important to note that the fridge set point temperature, the ambient temperature outside, and the contents of the fridge all play a role in total power consumption, so your results may vary from what I saw in this video. If you guys have any questions about these testing standards, go ahead and throw a comment down below, and I'd be happy to get back to you.